Friends, good evening. Namaya here, and this is Stories of Jake and the Hobo, My Summer of Love. And what we've seen in this chapter on New Orleans is where Erasmus begins to tell about his stories and struggles. He was a dirt poor boy from Vermont. We don't always think of Vermont as impoverished, but for many places in Vermont there's such intergenerational poverty that you don't realize it. Beneath the stories of the skiing and of all the tourism, but there is deep intergenerational poverty. And then he starts here on page 142. Though my dad worked 16 hours a day and never missed a day of work every day after supper, he went to the woodshed with the pot-bellied stove, sat down with a cheap bottle of whiskey and poured shots till he fell asleep. He wouldn't drink in front of us, only in the woodshop. Mother said he never wanted to burden us. He was dead by the time he was 45. I had never heard much about his family farm, Hardscrabble, in the northeast of Vermont. I thought of the farm sounded idyllic. I didn't realize all the poverty and the hard work to run a farm. Erasmus said, the day I turned 17, I took the bus to Burlington and joined the army. I didn't even say goodbye to my family. I don't know why. After years and years of milking hay and shoveling the barn, chopping wood, and all the work of making a farm run, I was fed up and wanted to escape. Only when I was in Vietnam 6 months later did it hit me. I was ashamed of myself for leaving. I wrote my mom and brother a letter saying how sorry I was, but it was too late. My mother wrote back, Erasmus, you were right. It was too much. So many things have changed in farming, and though we all tried mightily to make this farm work, it wasn't making ends meet. And you're right, it was much too hard. It wasn't your fault. We placed too much on you when your father died, and didn't know how overwhelming it was for you. I wish we were able to talk. Vermonters keep too much inside, and we don't talk about what bothers us. When you come back, and I hope you come back soon, we're selling the farm to the Glaciers, and they're letting me stay in the farmhouse. We'll help out as best as possible, but I decided to return to teaching. The classroom is warm, and unlike farming, there's a paycheck at the end of the week. More importantly, teaching is my true destiny. The other bit of sad news I'm sorry to tell you in a letter is your brother Henry died in an accident. The tractor rolled over him during the snowstorm in January. We laid him to rest in the family cemetery. He was so proud of you when you joined the army and got out of Vermont. But Henry David said, for me, there ain't no other place I'd rather be than on a cow farm in Vermont. We all love and miss you, Mom. Erasmus cried. I wrote back, but didn't return to Vermont for a long time. After Vietnam, like many guys, I fell apart. I had no idea what was wrong with me. All I wanted to do was to drink and get high. Captain Jim and I were always drunk and miserable, but we thought we were having a good time. Then we met Sojourner, who ran a shelter and a mission for drunks like us. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I knew that Erasmus had struggled with alcohol and drugs, but I didn't realize all this story. My heart opened wide for Erasmus and Jim, Roshi, and my pain and stupidity felt so small. When I looked into Erasmus's eyes, I didn't see the man I thought he was, someone powerful and wise, and said, I saw the true man, a man of humility, grace, and gentleness. I realized at that point why I loved him so much. He allowed me to see his true self. It is an enormous gift when somebody allows you to see their true self, free of pretense and what other people think. That night after dinner, he and I walked along the rusty bridge by the Mississippi. We didn't say much, Socrates between us, and heading along the way. The sunset on the Mississippi was pink, orange, and lilac. Despite my wreck of an evening, I still loved New Orleans, and instead of feeling ashamed and embarrassed, I learned to accept it. Jake, Erasmus said, we all fall short of our goals and expectations, but we recover. We pick ourselves up. It's when we learn to love ourselves unconditionally that we can truly learn to forgive ourselves and others. Jake, we often fall short of our goals and expectations, but we recover, pick ourselves up. It's when we learn to love ourselves unconditionally that we can truly learn to forgive ourselves and others. Instead of feeling like a stupid kid, I was blessed for having met Marty, the community here, for Socrates' doggy kisses that always made me feel better, and for the wisdom and kindness of Erasmus. I was ashamed, but I was held in the strength and wisdom of Erasmus, Marty, Liz, and all the people who helped me along the way. That night I fell into a deep sleep. I dreamed I met my mother when she was an infant. I knew who I was, and I knew who she was. I held her as a mother would hold a baby. I rocked and held her close as I laid my mother to rest and drew the covers over her. I felt her breathe deeply and peacefully. I saw my father through the window as he smiled and walked by. None of it made sense. I looked at the clock when I woke. It was 11 o'clock. I had slept for more than 12 hours. How is that possible? I thought of everything I was supposed to do at the house this morning. Erasmus came in with a cup of coffee. Sleeping Beauty, I thought the Sandman had carried you away. He gave me a hot towel to wash my face. I was disoriented and told him the dream I had. And this is story, and even though that I wrote it from a lot of people and a lot of different memories in my life, the beauty of this book, and it's not because I wrote it, there's a lot of really quiet and gentle wisdom I liked here. And I had forgotten about this. And I love when I wrote it, it says, Jake, we all fall short of our goals and expectations, but we recover and pick ourselves up. It's when we learn to love ourselves unconditionally that we can truly learn to forgive ourselves and others. So, tonight, the 4th of February 2025, thank you for listening tonight to Jake and the Hobo, My Summer of Love. And of course, you can get this online, ordered through Vermont Art Poetry Press, or just type in Jake and the Hobo. And we're going to continue to try to read this, stories of Jake and the Hobo, all the way to the end, and then pick up with Celebrate Life. Enjoy stories. Enjoy. Celebrate life. Enjoy the adventures of Jake and the Hobo, My Summer of Love, a story written by Jake Meadows 20 years after she met the extraordinary Erasmus P. Hobbs. Thank you.